Welcome to Pyar, 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 the Swaddle series on the evolution of filmy romance. Today, the kiss has become a romantic standard in most mainstream films and TV shows. But एक ज़माना था जब Let's start from the very beginning. One of the very first instances of on screen intimacy in India was in 1929. In the silent film A Throw of Dice, actors Sita Devi and Charu Roy shared a couple of kisses on screen. Back then, Indian cinema saw a lot of foreign collaborations. This film wasn't an exception. It was jointly created by Bavarian filmmaker Franz Osten and Himanshu Rai. These foreign influences led to realistic romantic representations on screen. And it wasn't the only one. Bengali silent film Bilet Firot had plenty of intimate scenes. Zarina featured 86 kisses, and Karma had the infamous 4-minute kiss between Devika Rani and Himanshu Rai. A regulatory body, the Indian Cinematograph Committee, was set up in British India, but no objections were really raised against the kisses. उनके concerns अलग थे, I suppose. Beyond that, though, movies were mostly seen as a dishonorable trait that traditionally good Indian women would avoid. White-skinned actors were in demand, and Baghdadi Jewish or Anglo-Indian women would be roped in for the roles. Their outsider tag allowed them more freedom. Looking back then, at the very start of Indian cinema, the kiss existed on its own, away from any larger national identity. So, what led to the kiss's absence? A change took place as ideas of chastity and muted sexuality took center stage in response to British allegations of moral degradation. These ideas tied themselves to the expanding Hindu national identity during the independence struggle. 13,000 women famously sent Nehru a petition to stop the evil influences of cinema on society. And Gandhi stated that even to an outsider, the evil it has and is doing is patent. तो जाहिर सी बात है, ऐसे माहौल में the formation of the Film Advisory Board and the draconian Cinematograph Act of 1952 labeling on-screen kissing as indecent fits right in. Horrible, right? Agreed. But it did give us the golden era of Bollywood romantic symbolism. This kept the Savarna anxieties of immorality at bay for decades. Until Raj Kapoor's Satyam Shivam Sundaram broke from the mold by bringing an overt sensuality to the screen. The film portrayed Rupa in revealing clothes while exploring the character's sexuality. Forget the kissing scene. The movie even featured a sex scene. The controversy still remains fresh in the public mind. Politicians and actors were outraged. But Shashi Kapoor, Raj Kapoor's brother, had then commented saying, "This is an important beginning." The attitude towards on screen kisses slowly began changing only in the 80s, with a kiss or two starting to feature in movies. But the big moment was unquestionably, drum rolls please, the infamous Raja Hindustani kiss. अभी तक हमारे भाई लिबरलाइजेशन ग्लोबलाइजेशन आ गए थे और भारत बदलने लगा था. इंडिया went from one single channel to about 69 of them. Indian youth began to be exposed to Western imports from all ends, and satellite TV brought in channels like MTV, Channel V, and CNN. Indians also began to be exposed to more behichak portrayals of on-screen romance internationally, which was obviously viewed by the peheredars of Indian conservatism as evil Western influences. As a result, filmmakers adopted characteristic traits of Western culture, but also made sure to paint Indian morality as being superior. When it comes to Raja Hindustani, the same regressive ideas of Indian morality are consistently maintained, but it has a kiss. The director called it the perfect combination of body and soul, of the heart and the mind. The audience, it's awkward, it's long, it lacks any chemistry whatsoever, but hear me out. Back then, it was something new. It was a mainstream blockbuster film starring two of the biggest industry actors with an on screen kiss that went on for 40 seconds. Of course, it's immediately followed by deep regret and shame, essentially negating any positive impact it might have had. But in retrospect, it was a foot in the door moment for several filmmakers who used this opportunity to bring more overt sensuality to the screen. And with its gradual acceptance as normal, on screen intimacy in the form of a kiss soon became regular and even grew to embrace newer ground. But what exactly led to the change? A 2002 economic downturn, and filmmakers realizing that Indian cinema was lagging behind the West because of censorship. Filmmakers like Mahesh Bhatt and Govind Menon began to make movies exploring sexual intimacy, making actors like Emraan Hashmi and Mallika Shekhawat kiss famous. While these movies occupied the fringes of mainstream Indian cinema, they were wildly successful. Actor Emraan Hashmi, who was tagged the serial kisser, then pointed out, "Going by the number of people who come to watch my films, this is what our target audience yearns for." Soon after, mainstream actors began to kiss on screen, India में OTT वाला wave छा गया, and then even SRK graduated from its neck kisses to full-fledged lip-to-lip kisses. And with this reappearance of the kiss comes a new normal. But भले ही realistic बन गए थे वो, the scope would always be limited to heterosexual romances until very recently. And here, the on-screen kiss once again becomes a radical act. Over the years, many critics have pointed out homoerotic narratives within mainstream films, but most movies would include queer characters only for comic relief.
यहाँ सब गड़बड़ है उस्ताद, नरम गरम है और गरम नरम है।
So, finally, more commercial movies with realistic queer representations are beginning to show up. And this is where Shubh Mangal Zyada Savdhan enters the picture as India's first mainstream gay movie. Let's put this in context. This mainstream film on gay romance became a commercial hit in an India where you still can't legally marry your partner if you're gay. Within the plot of the DDLG inspired film, the love affair isn't secret. The kiss isn't behind closed doors. It's an act of assertion happening right in the middle of a wedding, khullam khulla. It is a public and unapologetic declaration of love, and one that especially leaves a mark because it's sealed with a kiss. Which on-screen kiss changed how you view intimacy? Tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the Swaddle for more.